Just getting comfortable. I like being on the floor. That always involves the right pillows. Welcome back to the Playful Souls Summit, hosted by me, Ellen Rebecca Geis, and Winnie the Pooh, my emotional support stuffed animal. No, it's just nice to have something cozy to sit with. Anyway, let's see, is it noon? Yes, it is noon. Huzzah! So our next interview, we just heard from Molly. We talked about amazing things with like the healing process and the role play has in that, curiosity in play, the role of play in business and adulting. So much great stuff in that interview. And next we're going to be hearing from my friend Kris. So hopefully he hops on here in a second. There he is. Awesome. So Kris, if you want to just request to join, and I'll let you into the call. Or the live, whatever. So Kris is my friend. I've known him since I was in college and I was 19. I just turned 19. And he's an amazing musician. And you know what? I'll let him introduce himself from there. Hey, Katie. All right. Should be popping on in a second. Yay!
Hey!
Hey! How's it going?
It's good. I found the place to be.
Awesome. You have like half an hour, right?
Yeah, about that.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool. I'll keep an eye on the time because I know you got a busy day, and I really appreciate you being here and fitting me in because I know it's your mom's birthday and you have shows and everything. So
All good. Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
cool.
So did you wanted me to like introduce myself and
Yeah, go for it. Introduce yourself, whatever you want to share with people about who you are.
Cool. Hey people. I'm Kris Hansen. I make music and art. I enjoy creating things. Like Ellen was saying, we've known each other for a long time as artists and people, and I just happy to be here, getting some coffee in my system too, so my brain will start even cranking into the next gear.
Cool. Gotcha. I love it. All right, Kris. So we'll get to the point so that you can get to the rest of your beautiful day. How do you define play for yourself?
Play for me is it's kind of it's an approach to things. Play to me is the choice to see things with a lighthearted curiosity and flexibility. Like when I think back to when I was a kid and how playing felt, there was always like sort of like the ability to create these worlds, just the ability to see the world how you want to see it. And so it's kind of like play for me, when I really feel engaged with play, is just seeing the possibility of life and like how you can sort of make it what you want to make it, and make it this joyous, wondrous, curious experience.
That's beautiful. I love that explanation of play.
Mm-hmm.
So what are things in your life that give you access to that?
I would definitely say art, music too, although music is sometimes more complicated for me because it's what I do for work.
Yeah.
But music as well. Photography and videography, something that has opened itself to me in the past year, and also kind of work oriented, but in a different way. The music, I'm just thinking, Yeah, I think, like taking a walk, meeting strangers. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other non-artistic examples. I feel like there's the obvious answer, and then there's the, yeah, I think meeting new people alone can be
Mhm.
extremely playful. You're kind of given the chance to like, bring out the parts of you that you want to, and or that just naturally come out. And that's kind of a fun process to see, like, oh, like how how will this interaction be played out in that way.
Yeah, totally. I think like too what you were saying with meeting people on your own and taking a walk, having those sort of adventures, it really ties in with your definition of like play. You had said curiosity and flexibility and that childlike ability to create worlds, to create a magical, joyous life that we want and have it be our own creation. Like we are the players in our own game of life, and I love that. Um, Especially in Chicago where you live, and I'm sure other places you've been as well. But there is that sense when you're out on your own, you meet a new person. It's like, whoa, like this amazing adventure game of life.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. Cool. Thank you. So, I know we talked earlier in the week about like where you're at with like kind of seasonal blues and different just different aspects of play that this conversation could go in. I'd love to just check in with you right now. Like how are you feeling with like where like today, like November 13th, 12 something PM? How does play feel with you like right now with whatever's going on in life, just so this conversation can come from like that authentic place?
Mm. I think it's I feel like I love using the term lazy river
Mm,
because like a lazy river is not always, like, the motion of it isn't always apparent, but it is moving. You're still moving. So I like to sort of call that like the early parts of my day in the lazy river phase.
mhm.
It's not standing still. It's just it's taking time to move into it. So that's kind of how I feel. I think in general in the mornings. Mornings can be, you know a playful thing eventually. I think a lot of the time, and today I'm, focusing on today, when there's just like a lot to do, or there's a lot to be excited about, but also a lot to prepare. It's kind of, yeah, both, managing the feelings and the just the understanding that there's going to have to be, like, okay, focused energy, and mixing that with playful energy. um so yeah, that's how I feel today, because I have a show that I'm playing later. This is the first time I'm playing, like my like a solo set of my music.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Oh my gosh, that's so
yeah,
cool. I wish I was there.
yeah, it's gonna be really sick. It's at, and Claire, our friend
Yeah,
Claire. It's
yeah,
at her birthday party, and so that's
cool.
kind of, uh, playful presence in of itself. And yeah, just celebrate. It's also my mom's birthday.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah,
Happy birthday to
birthday,
Chris's
mom.
mom. Thank you for birthing him. Um,
Yeah.
so with that, and because I think that's a state a lot of people can identify with, especially in like a weekday type context of like, all right, I just got to get through this day, or I got to get this project finished, or whatever the to-do list looks like. Um, where it's like a lot of focused energy. And I think, especially, I'm curious from your perspective as a musician, where music is your work, but then, at least from me, when I used to do performing, it's like you put so much focus and context into learning, 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 practicing, 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 and then you show up on stage and you have to just let all that go and let it flow and play with it. So I'm curious if you have any insight for people who maybe like, you know, I know you don't like, not every day is always busy for you, not every day is busy for everyone, but on a day like today where there's a lot going on and people have days like that often, especially as adults, how do you, or like in the context of music too, it's like where it's like it is a task, it is work for you. How do you then let go and kind of get in that lazy river and just like let it flow and let it be playful, let it be creative, and you know?
That's a really great question. I think what it comes down to for me, or where I acknowledge that when I'm most successful in doing that, is first of all just like letting go of your expectations of like what this thing is going to be, what it's supposed to be. Letting go of your expectations of yourself to be a certain way, to, you know, to do it perfectly, to, you know, carry yourself, you know, if you're performing, to engage in a certain way. You just kind of have to, you know, fully surrender to the moment of doing the thing. And yeah, so I think that sort of being like in the moment and just trusting yourself that, you know, that you have prepared. Like, I think that's kind of the, you know, the conversation that we're having too, and in bringing up, you know, this focus energy. And, you know, as we become adults, like there's this just big spiritual task of integrating, you know, our childhood in the ways that, you know, our childhood can fit into the folds of our adulthood. And, you know, easier said than done. Cause we're kind of, you know, my friend Trevor likes to talk about, you know, referring to this playful energy as a dance, and you're kind of dancing through, you know, these different things, these different emotions, maybe perhaps even conflicting emotions. Like when you're on stage, you may feel excitement and fear at the same time. And it's kind of, you know, seemingly at odds, really, they're kind of just the same thing. But, you know, the more that you sort of like give yourself the opportunity to dance through these sort of paradoxical things that are coming up. Like, we're adults, but we also want to, you know, have fun. We want to be focused and disciplined and like have badass careers and do, you know, like achieve the most that we can personally. And we also want to have a good time doing it and maintain our wonder. And so just kind of, just dancing through that thing, whatever it is on stage. Sometimes literally you got to dance through it.
I love dancing through that. Dance is such a like literal dance is such a powerful way to like work through that restraint within ourselves, like get it out of our body. I'm just gonna check the time real quick. Okay, cool, we're doing good. So with some of the things you just said, I really love and want to elaborate on the like letting go of expectations stuff. I think that especially if we're like busy, we're stuck in like, not, it doesn't even have to be stuck in adulting, but like adulting is just a thing, you know, having to take care of bills and groceries and getting to work on time and also wanting to enjoy your life and responsibilities and all that stuff. Letting go of the expectations with it. And that is such a key part of play. Like, I'm reading more about like the research and stuff like that behind play, specifically in adulthood. And one of the components that this researcher attributed to like when someone is in a play state is that letting go of expectation. It's just being completely present and lost and caught up in the wonder of the moment. And I think that's such good advice for anyone who's like looking to access those feelings of freedom and of childhood wonder, even if you have a busy day, even if it's like, you know what, I don't have time to go do this, whatever is playful for me. I don't have half an hour. I don't have 10 minutes. Everything is accounted for and scheduled. It's like, okay, well, how can you let go of the expectations for that day and just have a sense of wonder about what is going to come out of this rigidly adult scheduled day and bring that sense of childhood back? So there was that point that I wanted to elaborate on. And then the other one you were saying, like kind of along with the dancing through life, that it goes with the expectations piece, I feel like, But the other one was that sense of like childhood, bringing that sense of child like wonder and curiosity into life. And as you were saying that, my little sister jumped on here. And I just really wanted to say, like, for me, the reason I'm doing this work and I'm sharing this with people and wanting to talk to people like you and share all of this stuff, a notification, and share all this stuff is because I remember being a 15-year-old and sitting in a therapist's office and being like, I don't want to grow up because I don't want to lose the childhood magic.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at adults, it was like adults lose the magic.
Mm.
Adults are boring. They just care about
Mm.
adulting and their careers and all of that stuff. And I have a lot of conversations with my 15-year-old sister. I don't know if she's still watching or not right now, but the same conversation. She doesn't want to lose the magic. And that's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm having these conversations, because I want adults to know the magic is not dead. You can have that in every single day of your life still, while budgeting, while grocery shopping, while going to work, while doing all of the adulting things. You can access that childhood wonder and curiosity in life. And that is going to provide so much enhancement to the way you live, even on busy days where there's nothing you can do about how busy you are necessarily. So thank you for that answer. And I thought that was really beautiful and insightful. And I just wanted to like elaborate on those points. Was there anything else you wanted to say on that?
Well, yeah, I really want to like honor you and anybody else who has this moment of discovery, like in like adolescence, of acknowledging this thing that happens. 'Cause it's really sad, you know, and not everybody comes to acknowledge it, in how it is, and to really see the difference of adults who have not consciously integrated stuff from their childhood. You know, there's kind of a you know, it seems like there is a just a feeling of adulthood, you know, that we've seen from, you know, our parents or colleagues, or, you know, where you just see in some people have really chosen to, you know, take the timeline and, you know, just fold it into the batter, so to speak. You know, every ingredient that comes in gets folded into the batter. And then, you know, others find it more difficult to, you know, fold stuff into their batter. And, you know, it can be a difficult thing too. It's not to, you know, say that's wrong or to put that down. You know, just acknowledging that integration process is difficult. But yeah, really, you know, appreciate you elaborating on it in that way. And I think it's really important for, you know, like a lot of adolescents to feel okay with that recognition of what happens. 'Cause it's kind of scary. And, you know, life is not all rainbows and sunshine, as we both know.
It's not at all. And incorporating play in your life isn't even about making it all rainbows and sunshine.
Yep.
You know, it's about bringing curiosity to things, and sometimes the curiosity might take you to a thunderstorm.
Right.
But thunderstorms can be kind of cool too.
Yeah. Terrifying. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this segues perfectly, because I really want to talk with you about the role that trying to be cool has in eradicating play and joy and self-expression in life. And I think us both referring back to adolescence as this point where it's like scary and you don't even realize that you might be letting go of that magic and all of that stuff. And as you grow into adulthood and go to college, that magic and wonder and curiosity and self-expression that is play can get chipped away at. And I think worrying about being cool and what other people think of you is a big part of that, what chips away at that. And you and I have dove into that a lot in the course of knowing each other. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about that perspective.
Well, first of all, it's just easy to get wrapped up. It's easy to get wrapped up in what you think the world is expecting of you, what you have perceived or received from other people as there being something wrong with you. Inherently, there's a I think as sort of a prologue, it's important to highlight the reason why so many people get caught up in this mentality, or like caught up in these anxieties or worries about what people are thinking of them, about pleasing people. There's a good reason. It's like that. It's coming back to the statement that life is not, everybody is carrying, until we learn how to deal with it, everybody's carrying their baggage into situations. So that may look like, if a parent is treating a child badly, that kid needs to get it out somehow. So that kid's going to make fun of people, and just acknowledging the cycle of like how this even like comes up in the first place. But it's a very sticky web, because these threads of oh my god, I care so much about what people think about me, and oh my god, this thing is really cool, I genuinely connect to it, are can be pretty close together a lot of the time. And I think especially as kids, I don't even fully understand. Like, I wouldn't even know how to tell, like, an adolescent. I'm 26. We're still learning too.
Yeah.
We're still figuring this out. That's what's cool about this conversation too. It's like we're not, the master wizard and witch behind this like understanding. I wouldn't know how to tell an adolescent to not care about what people think, because that's part of being an adolescent. You kind of you have to dig into that before you figure out how to untangle it. But moving deeper into that question, I think as we do get older and we start to develop more of our own opinions, more of our own system of values, it's really, really important for us to check in with ourselves, to make sure that the code of our life that we're living by is not abandoning, it isn't abandoning that core, represented by our values and our beliefs. And I think one of the bravest thing somebody can do is really living by their values, and however that looks. There may not be people that agree with you. There may be people that you'll have to let go of. There may be many people that you'll have to let go of in that process.
And many people will come in as well.
And people will come in, exactly. So yeah, just seeing that it's still like a constant battle for me. Especially in the sphere of like music and art, like there's a lot of ego, there's a lot of there's a lot of people trying to be something, and sometimes it's hard to tell. Like sometimes I deal with a lot of insecurity still, and it's hard to tell, like, oh, is this person just being ingenuine, or am I just being insecure? And it's kind of hard to tell. But again, like as a reminder to myself, just saying, I think there's a lot to be said for, like, if you're really checking in with yourself and checking in on what feels good and what maybe doesn't feel as good, your body will tell you a lot of stuff that your mind will convolute or complicate. So yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't know, like, what do you feel about all that we're talking about too? Because like we've talked about it, but yeah, especially just we're kind of in different worlds too.
We
Like,
are. Yeah. So I'm thinking about like this summer, for example, when you and I were hanging out, and to people watching, Kris and I, we love painting together. Like that's something we love to do. We only see each other like once or twice a year at this point. But we used to live down the streets with each other, and we really love painting together. And we used to make these like really amazing collaborative paintings that were just like really trippy and cool and had all these hidden faces in them, and they were just really beautiful. And we were hanging out this summer, and I don't think we had painted together for like 2 years. And we're like, let's paint together. And we were trying to paint like we used
like
to.
we used to.
And
Yeah.
we had no fun at all. It was like not flowing. It was not fun. It just felt like trying to fit in this mold. And that's what I'm thinking of when like play and creativity gets crushed when you're trying to fit in the mold of like being cool and like what you think you're supposed to be like. And so then at a certain point, one of us said like, I'm just letting go of the expectation that this is going to look good, because our paintings always used to look really good, but we weren't thinking about them
Yeah.
looking good. We were just enjoying each other's company when they used to look good. So it was like, I'm just letting go of the expectation of this looking good. And then you like just started like squirting like paint on the canvas, and like we started finger painting. I went home with paint all over my legs because I was like, I'm gonna paint myself, like, and it was so much fun. And our painting looked nothing like our old ones. It was like this like cool finger painted impressionistic looking thing, and it was fun. And we
I'm gonna get
played because we let go of trying to be cool. Oh, awesome. We let go of trying to be cool, and we let go of what it was supposed to look like. I can get one of our old ones too for comparison.
Yeah, that's a
But
good idea.
so I was thinking of that, and I was wondering if I don't know how much time you have left, but I was wondering if you have any other examples in your life of times where it's like you were kind of really maybe stuck. I don't know if there's anything specific that comes to mind, but maybe times where it's like you were stuck because you were trying to like be a certain way, and I think especially in your industry that's relevant. Um, and and then you just said fuck it, and you let yourself play and be in a creative flow and be in like natural self-expression, and something cool might have happened. So before you answer, do you have the painting?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like one of our old paintings.
Okay.
This is one of the old areas.
Me too.
And then there's the new one.
Let me see.
Our finger painting. Yeah. Yeah, it was so much fun.
It was really great. I'm trying to get out of this comments right now. Can I send nothing? Cool. Yeah, that was such a I loved that experience of like almost like this simultaneous mutual acknowledgement, like, what are we doing? Like you can't just have a genuine experience of the present by trying to recreate the past. It just doesn't work.
Mm.
It doesn't work. I have learned that lesson, and will probably continue to learn that lesson over and over again. Life is not just a reset button or a like think about these lab rats who press a button to get food. They learn that they can, I just got to keep pressing the button. And but not to get sidetracked. So I mean, yeah, you were asking about just times when it's difficult to play. I mean, yeah, like literally this week. I'm dealing with seasonal depression or whatever it is. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly what is causing it, or sometimes it's easy to forget that the practice, when just for me, learning that, when I sit down and journal and meditate, like it may not feel immediately, it's not instant gratification, but if I do that 3 days in a row, my brain is going to work better. My brain is going to feel healthier. So sometimes easy to forget and to like take for granted like our mental health, because it's kind of elusive. It's not this physical thing. Like we don't see you know, the whatever, I don't know if this is the best example, but we don't see our like our brain bellies getting bigger. Like, oh God, I'm gaining all this weight, you know, like, I look like shit. I'm eating shit. It's more elusive, you know, like, and requires a little bit more belief, you know, that this is something that we're dealing with. But yeah, the other day, mornings can be a weird time for me, and mornings can be. I live with two other people, Prob and Trevor. I love them so much. It's you know, feel so grateful to like be with like-minded people, and like just literally on a basis of being, you know, understood as a person with, you know, ADD and creative impulses is just, you know, solid. But you know, I'll get socially exhausted really quickly, especially in the morning. And so, you know, it'll be like having a conversation, you know, with my roommates, and then all of a sudden, I just want to be quiet. I just want to be silent. I just lose the capacity all of a sudden to have any type of conversation, and dealing with, you know, everybody copes in different ways. Some people like to talk things out. I used to be that type of person. Now I am less of that type of person. And sometimes that's really difficult for me to grapple with. That I'm just like, you know, I think we put a lot of emphasis on extroversion in our society in general, just what it is to be extroverted. It's you know, valued more. Like you're creating relationships, creating friendships, like constantly, you know, being around people. To be seen as personable is a positive thing, and to be seen as reclusive is not as positive. So yeah, I've been grappling with that lately, and trying to play with it. And yesterday, I was, you know, journaling about it, and not necessarily in the way of writing line after line after line. You know, I'll sometimes journal in more of a poetic form. Like I'll write them as, you know, as verses instead of, you know, just like a full paragraph. And illustrating things, you know, like doing little doodles here and there. I listen to, there's Sheba. Sheba helps me play.
The dog.
A lot, yeah. Hi, Sheba.
Hi, buddy.
She's so good. Pure. Mm-hmm. The purest. Yeah, so just I'm trying to remember where I left off. Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, so, you know, I was going through my music library for a while, and just really just like giving myself the time to do that, like alone. So I really value that time, you know, especially in the morning. Is important for, you know, especially people that feel the need to be alone. I'm definitely one of those people at this point in life, to really honor that, and just take the time for yourself. Take all the time you need, and to not feel ashamed of needing that. You know, even if it is like an extended check-in with myself, just really kind of accepting that's what I need. And there's, you know, there's a grace to playfulness in that way, and there's a maturity to playfulness in that way, that it is, you know, it comes out of this deep, pure, childlike experience of life. And also it just, it teaches us to dance. It teaches us to, you know, to write music, to paint, just to create. And yeah, so I think there is a lot of a lot of beauty, even in self-reflection,
Mm-hmm.
that you can find that, even if it's just one single grain of playfulness in that, to like just really cherish that and to remember that it exists.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I love that. Yeah, taking that time to care for yourself, regardless of other people's expectations or what you think other people think of that, especially if you live with others, is
Mm.
so key. And whatever that routine or lack, let me finish the sentence and then elaborate on it. Whatever that routine needs to look like for you when going through challenging stuff like depression, seasonal depression, things like that, um, let that be. For some people, it might be getting up and journaling and meditating and going for a walk outside every morning. And you might do that every morning for a month and then be like, I am so freaking sick of this. I don't want to do this anymore. And I
Yeah.
just want to stay in bed. And then you end up perpetuating the depression cycle because you need to break out of that and bring curiosity and a little bit of playfulness to it, in the sense of, oh my God, is that Benji? Hi, Benji. Um, and bring like
Oh,
that little bit of different Benji. Oh,
different Benji. Also a good Benji, though.
cool. Well, hi, different Benji. But bringing that sense of like curiosity, improvisation, playfulness. Like play doesn't have to be this high energy child screaming and running at the playground type thing. It can be
Yeah.
like, you know what? Journaling is really great, but for some reason it just feels really like confining to me today. But I still really want to journal. I'm gonna use colored pencils to journal, or like
Yeah.
I'm gonna like write it really big and weird, or I'm gonna like go. It's breaking it up. It's bringing. It doesn't have to all be a rigid routine of self care. Like especially when dealing with depression and stuff, it's like some levels of consistency are important because the depression will make you not want to be consistent and not want to take care of yourself. But then when it gets to a point where that routine starts to feel restrictive and limiting, listening to yourself of like, what would make this more fun and enjoyable so that I want to continue caring for myself.
Mm. I think that's a really great point, and I think that too. It reminds me, there's all of this information coming out too on happiness and all of these podcasts, all of this, it's all saying the same stuff too. It's like, and which is in of itself really, really beautiful, because it takes time to, like we need to sit with the same stuff and remind ourselves that, um, to affirm like this, it's a practice to like to live joyfully is a practice. But yeah, it's literally just one thing. Like one thing can mix it up. Just like you said, I love the colored pencils example. Or, you make the same breakfast every morning. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna have cereal instead of toast.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like it's seemingly, as we become adults, we just come into the mundane aspects of things.
Not me, routine, ruts. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's also part of being an adult is having routine and having, a schedule and having structure. But just making sure that the river is flowing through the riverbed, in whatever way that we need to get it to go. Yeah. And that, it's funny too, because I'm thinking, paradoxically on the other side, like there's some routines that feel really great. It can be the same thing every morning, but like, when I wake up, I'm just excited knowing that I'm going to drink a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I'm like, sweet. My brain is about to like be so much more alive and playful and whatever it is, like, and it's just these tiny things. And it's funny because I'm thinking about my mom would say similar things to me back in college too, when I was going through a lot of depression. And she would say these things to me in the moment that I didn't really register. I was like, God, that sounds so boring in of itself. Just like, these little things, just appreciating the little things, but it's really beautiful. And that's something to be really grateful for as we age. Like we can see nuance in things. We can see the detail in that piece of art, or we can really appreciate somebody's, you know, the little thing that they do for people in their life, or just, you know, we get to notice more.
Mm-hmm.
And applying that to our own lives too. You know, we get to notice how good every sip of coffee feels.
Yeah.
You know,
If you bring that intention to it.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's an aspect of play too. It's like the presence. Because also there's lots of adults who don't notice that stuff. They're just going too fast and too caught up in the
and I'm one of those adults too.
Yeah,
so
I'm one of those adults too on certain days. Yeah.
You know, it's like we were saying, you know, it's a practice. It's really a practice, and we have this really great opportunity to be like vigorously dedicated to seeing things playfully.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
true. It's a paradox.
Dedicated as hell to having life be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And as an adult, it does take intention, because the world will sweep you up and chew up that time and curiosity and spontaneity. So it does take intention. We can wrap it up in a few minutes here, because I know you probably got to get going, but I just want to kind of reiterate.
I have until 1, just to
okay, cool.
Yeah, so I have the hour if we want to keep going.
Oh, okay, cool. So I think, like, just reiterating what we were saying, it's like, yeah, sometimes like, oh, I have to create a routine for myself. I know when I was like severely depressed and my life was just basically like getting stoned and watching Netflix and eating frozen pizza. It's like the last thing, I knew I needed a routine to get myself out of that, but the last thing I wanted to do was actually stick to a routine, you know? And I think that's a dilemma when you're in a state of depression or anxiety or whatever it is. And especially when you're in like the Midwest and have lost the vitamin D from the sun at this point. But making that routine something that you want to do, like the coffee component, things like exercise, like they say, like obviously we know that's so good for depression and mental well-being and physical well-being. But I don't know about you, but like the idea of having to like go do a workout, absolutely not going to happen. But if it's like, Anthony, I want to go play tag at the park, and right now my personal goal, I want to get really good at monkey bars. Like, I'm a nanny, I'm at parks frequently. I want to get really damn good at those monkey bars. That's going to require exercise. That's going to require building muscle and going through the discomfort of exercise, like building calluses on my hands again and all that stuff. And so it's like, how can you bring that sense of fun and joy and spontaneity into the framework of the routine? And like, I know for you used to, I don't know if you still do, but like you used to go like play basketball at the park when you like to get some exercise, and that was a fun way to do it for yourself. And
totally. Yeah, basketball and frisbee, pretty much like anything that tricks my body into running.
Yeah.
I have been attributed to many a dog in my life, and as much as I want to fight it, when a thing is flying in the air, you know, your boy wants to run and catch it. I wish I could catch things, but I actually can't catch things with my mouth, but not frisbees or basketballs. Popcorn and Skittles are more of my speed when it comes to that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, totally. So just coming back to what you were asking, can you reiterate that last point? Found our way to.
Yeah, I was just making like summing up kind of what we had been saying about like playfulness within routine, and like adulthood has routines. That's not a bad thing. That helps keep us moving forward, reaching our goals and all of that, but bringing that sense of playfulness into the routine, so the routine doesn't have to be restrictive, so that it's a routine we want to be a part of. I was just kind of reiterating, I wasn't asking a question. So if there's anything else you want to say on that, I guess.
For sure.
Sure.
I think it's like I've had a gym membership that I'm probably going to cancel, and you know that it's just it has to feel right Like it has to, and also just knowing, like, I think, because sometimes, to be real, like the things that give us the most, the things that we really get a lot from in the aftermath of, and maybe not like instantly, the things that aren't instantly gratifying, the things that, like I shifted my diet over 30 days. Now I feel amazing, but you're not, you don't feel that the first day that you shift the diet or whatever you're doing yoga or, it's, I think, oh yeah. So I'm remembering, back in 2018, I kind of made a very bold decision for me that I hadn't made. I was like, experiencing a lot of depression. It was the middle of the winter. I was like, I'm going to go to the gym every single day now. I'm just going to do it because I didn't know what to do. I was just kind of, I felt backed into a corner. I didn't understand how to deal with it. I had tried journaling. I had tried just like all of the stuff within my head to try to figure it out. And that wasn't going to do it. So I think intuitively I knew, like, I just got to get in my body. I got to feel this out. At first it was hard, like going every day. And I remember I looked forward to it, really like nasty shit. Like it's probably so bad for you. It was this pre-workout, powder. C4 pre-workout just looks like fucking, toxic, toxic waste.
But you look forward to it.
It's not great, but it was a caffeine bomb. And so I was like, all right, like, here we go. Hit the pre-workout, then go to the gym. And I got that rush, or just, there was that one little thing that I used to motivate myself to get up. Like, it's like, okay, like the gym, whatever, it sucks, but like, at least I'll have the pre-workout, and kick my body into gear. Sometimes it doesn't always look good, or it doesn't always appear healthy on the outside. And especially as I'm sure you have experienced a lot at this point, like being, involved in all these holistic, mediums and talking about this type of stuff. Like, there's a lot of just, indulgence that's looked down upon. Like the second that we start to recognize, like, oh, like, well, it's only doing what's best for our body, and like this materialistic view of spirituality gets really like, can start to mess up, just, can start making things about doing everything right instead of doing things for ourselves.
And having joy.
Yeah, and having joy.
You get so focused on being healthy and well and all of this stuff that ultimately the goal is happiness and freedom and joy, and you get so caught up in the rigidity of how to be healthy and well that the joy gets killed. I'm going to be diving more into that in my next interview, but nice. Totally.
That's cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I need to start wrapping it up so that I can just have a break between interviews. But is there anything else that you wanted to share when it comes to playfulness, any of the things we talked about, any like words of wisdom for people about how to incorporate play into their life, anything like that?
Just make shit and stop caring about what it is. Stop caring about it being good or bad. Like we're all creators. Like we all have that power given to us. And, as we get older, people want to take that away. People want to take that away by labeling things good, bad, ugly, whatever, whatever it is. But we have a sacred power to create inside of everyone that looks differently for everybody too. So just remember that is always the key to remaining playful, remaining present with life, because that's what it's about. We're living here. So yeah, don't let anybody take that away from you.
I love that. Thank you. And yeah, we're all creators. It doesn't have to look like art or music or a theater play or singing. your creation might be a garden, your creation might be something in the kitchen, your creation might be a piece of code for a computer. Like,
Yeah.
we're all creators. Just, yeah, I love that. Just create, keep making. And I would even add, like, if you have a big fear around like it looking good, if you're like, I don't want this to look bad, create something with the intention that you want it to look as bad as possible and just
Yeah.
have a lot of fun doing that.
Totally.
Yeah. Cool. Well, Kris, how can I have some, I'm going to post this up to Facebook too. I know I have some people in Chicago. How can people find you? Do you have music online? How can they find you if you think you're cool?
Yeah, so I have music under my artist name, which is Semicycle. I'm Semicycle on Instagram. You can look me up on Spotify, iTunes, all the music streaming platforms. I am working on putting out some new music by the beginning of the year, 2022. It's a good number. I just want to say that too.
It's a good number.
Lots of twos. It feels good. So yeah, semi-cycle, pretty much on all the streaming platforms, Instagram. I try to post videos. I try to put stuff of performances of my music and all that type of stuff. And I do photography and videography at Dramatic Subtlety. That's my other fun creative medium. So yeah, check me out.
Yeah, do it. And if you're in Chicago, definitely follow him because Kris makes dope music and it's a lot of fun to see him perform. So I'm so excited for you doing a solo show tonight. Oh my gosh, I hope people take and post some videos of that. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna recruit some friends for sure.
Awesome.
Need to document it.
That's great. And then for me, anyone watching that's from Kris's world, I'm at Ellen Rebecca Geis I'm not on all social media. I'm that on Instagram. Ellen Rebecca Geis. And then I'm offering a Power of Play workshop. It's going to be a 4-week workshop just for anyone that needs to like reactivate play in their life and wants some help getting started on that. And that'll start at the end of November. And you can find the link and more information of that in my Instagram bio and my Facebook bio. And I'll be sharing more about that in the weeks to come. So thank you so much for being on, Kris, and taking time out of your busy day. I could talk to you all day about this stuff. I hope I see you soon.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Ellen. And
you're welcome.
Look forward to the next conversation.
Totally. All right. Love you so much, bud.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.